Humor. Most people don't think of humor as something that they need to cultivate in order to be a leader or in order to just for it to be an important virtue or mindset in life. But it is ultimately important to the human endeavor. Hello, I am Ronnie Caldwell, and this is Be Good Leadership. And I want to talk about humor today because it's maybe one of the most underestimated skills or underestimated practices that we have when it comes to just life, leadership, relationships in general. It's normal for this is something I want to share is this happens all the time, and I just want to give a story. Is that as a teacher, you come into a classroom, and man, you're feeling it that day. You're feeling it. You start teaching, and man, it looks like the kids are with you. The kids are looking. You're telling your story. You're getting going. You're feeling passionate about it. I mean, you've never actually talked about the French Revolution the way that you're talking about it right now. You're actually realizing things as you're saying them, and you feel like you're hot, like you're on it. And the kids, some of them are asking questions, and some of them are just like, looks like they're just staring right at you. And there's that one kid who's looking at you, and you know that they're just enthralled, and that gives you that energy. And you're looking at their kid. Let's call him Tom. Tom is sitting there, and he's just looking. He's looking. He has a smile. You're smiling back at Tom, and you're being witty about Robespierre. You're being witty about the Jacobins, all these different things. You're talking about everything that's been going on in the French Revolution. He's got it. And oh my God, Tom looks at you. He's raising his hand, and here comes the question. What is it, Tom? What do you need me to clarify? And you say, Tom, what do you need? And he says, hey, can I go to the bathroom? Man, it breaks your heart. But this is something that every teacher realizes, recommends. Every teacher has been out there teaching their butt off to only have a kid ask a question that has nothing to do with anything, or to find out that actually you thought they were with you and they weren't with you at all. And even though this is a tough thing, it is something that teachers like to laugh about. It is something that when teachers are telling each other a story about it, they can find some humor in it. And so I think sometimes students, when they go through, they think that teachers are kind of robots and don't have a sense of humor. But humor is essential to getting through the stress and the work of teaching students to learn. And I think if you go on to any kind of social media site, there's some funny ones, bored teachers, or they're on LinkedIn, they can be on Twitter, X, or whatever you want to call it, and another one called Teacher Goals. But you'll see anything where teachers are sharing sort of ideas on social media. So often they are funny. So often they're about the struggles of teaching, but they're meant to get a laugh. And wrongly, many leaders, when teachers want to laugh at some of these things, because of sort of an insecurity, get upset that teachers are joking about some of these hard things, joking about, we've been asked to do this, but man, I've got this that's much more important right now. Or, you know what, this time of year, man, I can't be asked to do anything extra. I'm just out of it. And it's interesting because these are realities that teachers feel. And oftentimes, leaders don't want to admit that when they were teachers, they felt the same way. This happens in private sector organizations as well. Leaders are frustrated because employees are acting a particular way or having a particular attitude about things. But then when you ask them, you talk to them, they said, well, when you were in that work, did you ever experience that? And if they're being honest, yes, they did. And so when we talk about acceptance, when we've talked about humility, and I've talked about how important those things are, a good humor is usually about accepting the hardships, accepting some of the struggles, being humble about it, and being able to laugh at yourself. And this is so important for leadership because things aren't going to go perfectly. We are going to make mistakes. And having a good humor is one of the best ways to also express some vulnerability. If we think about the best comedians tell us some truths about the sticky, ridiculous hypocrisies of life, some of the absurdities of life, but they make us laugh at them. They let us understand that it's okay that we are not perfect. It's okay that we make some of these mistakes. It's okay that sometimes we find ourselves to be ridiculous. It doesn't mean that we don't hold ourselves to a high expectation. It just means that we don't ever pretend that we were ever perfect, that we don't ever pretend like we don't have things that people will also have to bear with. And this is also essential for teachers as well when dealing with students. Most teachers remember what it was like to be a student. If they're asked, maybe they will. And many teachers know that many of the things that students do, they have done before, or they've seen other students do before. And you have to laugh about it. It doesn't mean you don't hold people accountable. It doesn't mean that sometimes you don't have to remind someone, hey man, let's try to do a little bit better on that in that case. Let's see what we can do. It doesn't mean that we don't get feed forward. It doesn't mean that we don't hold people accountable. But we need to have a good humor. We need to cultivate that within ourselves, because if you've ever heard the expression, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. Laughter brings people together. Our ability to joke and to recognize some of the ways in which we make mistakes, to be able to laugh at them, is also builds a psychological safety to say, it's going to be okay. We're going to move forward. We're going to forgive and remember. And also the humor, who we laugh with, we're more united to, we trust more. Laughing is a way of relieving stress. It's one of the best ways. It creates, dopamine feelings in the brain. It helps us get through things. And all of us naturally need to keep going in the hard times. And sometimes we need someone who can joke with us a little bit. Now, of course, you have to be careful with this. You have to be careful with this because not everybody finds the same things funny. But what I think leadership can do, and what I think anyone can do, is allow someone to make a joke. Allow someone to see you laughing at yourself. I think you can start by, as a leader, also not taking yourself so seriously. Letting someone know when you've made a mistake. Letting someone know when something happened that, we can all laugh at. It was kind of ridiculous. Because when they know that you have a sense of humor about the vicissitudes of life, they also feel safer having a sense of humor about theirs. And once again, I'm not saying that we should be laughing all the time, joking, and never taking anything seriously. Certain things are serious. But when we're practicing perspective, we can decide that, for instance, Tom, in my example earlier, Tom asking to go to the bathroom instead of being completely enthralled, as I thought he was, with my lecture on the French Revolution, is not that big of a deal. In the moment, Tom's still going to get an education. I'm still feeling good about that lesson. There's other kids who were learning. It might have been disappointing in the moment, but a little bit of humility, a little bit of acceptance, and we can laugh at it. We can laugh at it together because we know those kind of things will happen over and over again. And it also helps us, after the laughter, to say, okay, and here's what we need to do next. Here's also this next action that I can take that's within my control that I can take for my people. When we can laugh together, we unite, we build psychological safety together, and we also keep each other going. So please don't underestimate humor. Share some jokes about teaching. Share some jokes about your organization or things that you know, hey, these are normal things that people feel sometimes. Acknowledge it. Be aware of it. There's great wisdom to be learned from jokes, from humor. They're not separate. In fact, what we find so often is people who are reformers, people who are leaders of large movements that are trying to go up against some really tough things. Many spiritual leaders, many reform leaders, all these, many of them, most of them have a sense of humor. Laughter is important because we know it's the only way that we can stay resilient. Please share this humor with someone else, and I hope this has been valuable to you. And please go forward and be good.